A very good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. The pandemic has indeed fast forwarded our way of living. Our country is the unlocking mode, and it's time to rethink and press the refresh button to ensure that the future is as we envision it to be. One cannot stress enough on the safety of human lives. Leave alone the pandemic, one needs to look inward and within one's home to ensure that we have safe installation and they are of good quality. We have all gathered here today to understand how we can not only go green and sustainable, but also consider products that are not always visible. On this occasion, it gives me immense pleasure to have gotten the opportunity to collaborate with one of the most forward-thinking brands in the electrical segment, Polycab. Polycab has been a market leader with a revenue of over 89 billion, making them the largest manufacturer of wires and cables in India, and is also the fastest growing FMEG player. Today, I'm delighted to be seated among some of the most prominent names in the industry and welcome you all to this very special panel. A very warm welcome to Rajesh Pandey, Head MEP ATS Group, K.N. Balasubramaniam, Vice President Contracts and Procurement, Prestige Group, Rajiv Batura, Senior Vice President, Ranwal Group, Uttam Kumar Ghosh, Vice President, MEP, Imami Realty, and Bhushan Sahani, Executive President and Chief Business Officer, Light Duty Cables, Polycab India Limited. This session is obviously moderated by one very fine gentleman, Mr. Harun Siddiqui, Vice President and Head, MEP Rustam Jeev Group. Before I call Mr. Sani, ladies and gentlemen, we have this gentleman who was supposed to join, Mr. Uttam Kumar Ghosh, but he has got some medical emergency, so he cannot make it this evening. Without taking much time, and I think now it's time to get Mr. Sahani to talk to us from his side. Mr. Sahani, over to you.
Good afternoon and good evening all. Thank you very much for overwhelming welcome to the Polycab. Actually, I just want to talk about, and I just want to wish to thank to the organizer for conducting such a meaningful and learning webinar. I also hope that the participant here today will be able to end up with learning more. The session will add some more and further value in their decisions. I cannot say purchase, yes, but in the decisions. We want to talk about the wire. Wire have always been an unseen hero. Yes, I just said it's a hero. It is an unseen hero underground and beneath the walls. It can never be seen, but it plays a vital role, an important role, keeping all of us safe and lightened. Have we ever realized that our country has one of the highest death rates because of the fire? Maybe it is short circuit. It is most of them are due to the short circuit. There was a study that every day 52 or 60 people are dying just because of the short circuit and the fire, which is the second highest than the road accidents. Fire, the cause being wires. This also means that the awareness, big question is the awareness about the wires in India is very, very poor, I can say. I don't know how shy by saying, because we are the country even lesser than the Dhaka, Rangoon, Bangladesh, where even the incidence of the wire and awareness is very, very much. While making buildings, averagely, we can say a person make 2 houses in the life. And we can say making building or houses, apartments, bungalows, hospitals, malls, such like we're looking at the cost of the reduction. But if we pause and rethink that, do we want to go cheap at the cost of human lives? I have a trust that afterthought which will come to you is definitely not going to be the wrong quality of work. When we do not compromise the external beauty of the constructions, whenever we are going there, we are talking about the marbles, we are talking about the sanitaries, we are talking about the lights, we are talking about the switches, which is visible. And we are telling twice, thrice, and we are not going for a best. We want best of the best. We do. Why do we need even give us second thoughts which wire will be the best? Nobody asked about the wires. I'm sure after the right wire will ensure the safety and will reduce the electricity consumption.
नहीं तो नीचे और एक है ना उसी में.
May I? After the right wire will ensure our safety and will reduce our electricity consumption, which in turn saves wealth of our economy even. Using local brands, inferior quality of wires may save a penny today, but then it costs you an invaluable human life. Do not forget the fire in Surat, Kolkata, even we cannot forget Upar Kand, Ames, and even in PM House. You can say in the reception area again, that was the just because of the short circuit, and many such. When I speak of fires, cause the wires. It is the onus of us, like a manufacturer, and the responsibility all as purchaser to provide the awareness, which is not in our country, or the quality of wire. It is my earnest request, all of you, that please, just for a pinch of margin today, please stop to make wrong decision or tell other people do not make wrong decision. Let's please join hands together and make India as a safer place to live. This is Bhushan Sani, Business Head, Light Duty Cables from Polycab. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sani. I completely echo and agree, and I can't agree more. And I think the lovely audience, I think that's a very strong messaging which Mr. Bhushan Sani has given to us. And really, as a leader in the space itself, coming from it really means, and I think we must adhere to it. And without taking much time, I have the pleasure to invite Mr. Devjyoti Mukherjee, Vice President Technical from Polycab, to give us a small presentation. Mr. Mukherjee.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Weaver. I'm audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Yeah. And thanks, Mr. Bhushan, for your good explanation. So good evening, everyone, and welcome to your first session of Nation Builder series. We are going to talk about right and safe wiring practices in residential building. But before jump to the actual presentation, let us have a small snap of Polycab business profile. May I get the next slide? So it is #1 manufacturer in wire and cables and more than 3,000 products in product baskets. Polycab is using 60,000 tons of copper per annum, 60,000 tons of aluminum per annum, and 40,000 tons of steel per annum, and 1 lakh metric tons of polymer per annum. More than 4,100 dealers and distributors in India, and Polycab reaches to a smallest town in India. 21% market share in organized wire and cable market. Manufacturing facilities in India around 23. More than 55 countries we are exporting, and overall revenue is more than 89 billions. So next slide, please. So nowadays, even the technology has reached to its highest level, but still we find several fire accidents globally. Fire is a breakthrough discovery of human being, and it is highly important for human life. Fire is a blessings of human being when we use in a controlled manner. But when it goes wrong, there is a severe damage and deaths. Next slide, please. You may well aware that nowadays fire accident is a regular incident, as Bhushan was saying. Regularly 50-60 persons are dying. And the question is whether people are learning from that.
Next part, e-commerce modernization and market.
Yeah, may I? Yeah. If we compare these fire incidents in India and in Europe for last 10 years, so if you see in Europe, drastically it has dropped down, but in India, so the curve is still parallel to x-axis. We basically know what protection we need and what we should do. But when it commercialized, the protection goes off. So, and that's the fire accidents. The question is why fire accidents are taking place. There are many reasons for that, but the statistics shows 40% of fire accident is taking place because of the short circuit, cable short circuit. From 2015 to 2016, to some extent, the fire accident reduces. But if you see from 2016 to 2019, the reduction of fire accident is not much. Let us discuss few points why fire accident taking place. So next slide, please. So there are several reasons why fire accident is taking place, but if we concern about short circuit of wire and cables, so many times we used extension board. So we misuse this extension board. Extension boards are available in the shop with multi-socket facilities. And irrespective of the specification of extension board, we use number of connections irrespective of the nature of the current. We use music system in additional extension board. We use heating system in the winter. We use many things in a one extension board, but the current carrying capacity is specified, which we do not look into that. And as a result of which, the cable gets heated and the insulation melts and it touches to the other wire, and then there is a short circuit and fire spreads out. Similarly, faulty fixtures of electrical equipment is another point or another criteria why short circuit is taking place. Many companies are supplying poor quality of sockets, switches, and wire also. So while passing current, there are, because of the poor quality, there are high resistance on this, and then heat develops. So when heat develops, we cannot see because this is this is a concealed system. We cannot see this, but for prolonged use, this heat develops and ultimately then accident takes place. So similarly, wrong wiring practices is another criteria. I think many of us, we have seen that high-rise buildings, in the meter, there are additional connection, which is not in the design circuit. The connections are going to the street lights, connections are going to the street market, shops like this. And when it is overloaded, then it blast and short circuit takes place, and then there are a lot of fires. So like this, current overload is everywhere, most of the places. Faulty equipments are there. Then panels, then poor maintenance is one major point. So you must have seen where is the meter is there. Old buildings, meter is there. There are a lot of loose connections, loose wire moving here and there, which is beyond the design circuit. So this is the case for having the accidents. So may I get the next slide? If we see some recent accidents, so Vanagaram is in Chennai, so it is a air conditioner go down. So because of short circuit, there is a fire. It's a very recent case, 4th August. Then another is Kuppam in Chittoor. So that is a milk dairy where again there is a short circuit because poor maintenance of wire, and then fire took place. Then another is Lajpat Nagar Central Market, Delhi. It is also not very old, 12th June it is. And same, it seems to be short circuit, yet investigation is going on. Next is Dream Mall. It is a very unique fire accident. Dream Mall, there's a fire accident because of the short circuit, and above the Dream Mall in the same building, there is a Sunlight Hospital. The fire propagates And many of the cases short circuit taken place and the fire reaches to the hospital, and there are several casualties on this. Next slide, please. So this is history, Upahar fire tragedy. It is a history. Amri fire tragedy. Amri fire tragedy, again, there's a unique tragedy. So here 95 people died, but unfortunately 90 people died not for the flame or fire. 90 people died because of the suffocation. So when the fire taken place because of the short circuit, many plastic materials, cables, then paints that burnt out, and from there, a lot of toxic gases, obnoxious odor came out, and the patient inhaled all those things, and they died. Even the firefighter who went inside for fighting with the fire, some of the firefighter also became unconscious because of these gases and oxygen depletion. Because when fire takes place, there are a lot of deficiency of oxygen. So people cannot live on this. Again, Stephen Court tragedy in Kolkata. So these are the basically big tragedy of not taking care of proper utilization of products. So next slide, please. Since many companies are supplying low smoke fire retardant wires and cables, but the ingredients they are using, which are not up to the mark, it is an inferior quality. So this material, let us say when the fire accident is taking place because of the short circuit, these wires are burning. And while burning, there are exothermic reaction is taking place inside the wire material, insulation material, and that generates heat, which is giving additional heat to the whole system, and then fire spreads out. So after fire spreading out, then a lot of toxic gases coming out, and then inhalation, and again this is a case of casualties. So next slide, please. So since 40% of the accidents are from electrical short circuit, we can propose right product selection and right wire practices, which are essential. Let us see what we can done if we do the right wiring practice. So for heavy appliances, we recommend we must use correct size of wire. Otherwise, we can propose the current overload will be very high and there will be a short circuit. Proper laying of wire with minimum turns and bends will reduce the damage of the wire and increase the life. So this, if it is a bends are there, so there is a sharp end and the insulation breaks from there, and then there is a chance of short circuit, and it happens. So many people, they push some extra loop inside the conduit, and then it remains in a bent form, and that helps the accident. Wherever there is a chance of fire and heat, like hospitals, then high-rise buildings, then institutions, industrial parks. So hospitals, let us take a case of hospital. Here is a lot of combustible materials like gas cylinders, papers, then plastics, then solvents, then chemicals. So there's every chance to get a fire. So in that case, so we propose always use zero halogen material, zero halogen product, where even the fire will take place, so that will not evolve any toxic gases or any chlorine, bromine like this. Flame retardant wires, when exposed to flame, do not catch fire and stop the spread of fire. So next slide, please. So we should always pre-decide the wiring plan based on the number of lights, number of fans, number of other domestic devices like fridge, washing machine, and we should not overload the electrical wire by this way, and we should keep some additional wattage for this, so that in future if you add some music system or any heating system, anything, so you must give some slot for that. Avoid wiring near bathroom or any damp area, because in the bathroom or damp area, there is a chance of water seepage, and then there is a chance of short circuit, and it happens. Many houses fire takes place because of this. Always measure the distance and minimize the voltage drop. Many cases it has found that socket or switch is one side and the AC air conditioner is other side. So there is a big distance between these. And when there is a big distance, there is a voltage drop and the instrument draws high current and there is a heat development and again there is a short circuit. There are standard code of practice. It is available in IS 732. If we can follow, I think it will be better. It is given that always 1.5 square mm minimum size to be used in the house. Also, we can follow the guideline of National Building Code. The wire should be installed through PVC conduit of requisite size, and see that the filling should not be more than 40%, because when you use more than 40%, so the heat development will be too much inside the conduit, and in prolonged use, then there is a chance of melting of the insulation and short circuit. So next slide. For better life, avoiding accidents, so you use wire size based on current rating with derating factors. Many places like Rajasthan or in north side of India, so the temperature goes to 45 degree, even 47 degree also. I believe Delhi is experiencing 47, 48 degrees centigrade. So in that case, normal wire, when we use, we have to consider the derating factor also, because when the temperature is very high and if we pass the rated current, there is a huge heat development and the melting of insulation will take place. So we should consider the derating factor for this. When we install wire inside the wall through conduit, so normally technicians, they do uncoiling of wire, and during uncoiling, they do not release the twist. The twist goes inside the conduit and remain as it is, and then from the bends it breaks down, polymer degrades, and then short circuit takes place. So we can propose some selection of right grade of material based on application. So we say use FRLF material, FRLF product, fire retardant, lead free, in bathroom and corridor area. So this area is where is live for very low duty cycle. Duty cycle means if it is at 24 hours of current is passing, so in this area, so maybe 1 or 2 hour current is passing. So very low duty cycle. So in that case, and that also not continuously. So in that case, the chance of short circuit is very, very less. So we propose use FRLF wire on this. Use FR-LSH or green wire in bedroom and living room, because most of the time bedroom and living room are occupied by the people, and continuously switch on the current light and fan. So wire is getting heated, and there is a chance of short circuit. So this wire, FR-LSH or green wire, will save the people, because this will not evolve any toxic gases, and the temperature, operation temperature is higher in this case. So this is bit safe. So we propose use HR, FR-LSH or green wire in kitchen, as kitchen is the place where most of the domestic devices are working. Let us say micro oven, then normal oven, then fridge, kitchen utility, people are keeping washing machines, then rice cooker. So when you start this simultaneously, so it is drawing huge current. And what happened, even a geyser also, it is taking huge current, and after some time it will get heated, and then insulation will melt, and then short circuit will take place. So if anybody, if you see in your kitchen and open the socket and see the inside, how is the wire. Let us say after 2 years or 3 years, you definitely find out that wire is sticky and the polymer over the conductor is very, very hard. This stickiness is because of the heat taken place and the volatile matter comes out. This is called phase migration. So migration of phase can be seen after 2 years in kitchen. So most of the cases, but whoever is using good quality product, so there you will not find, but it is a regular feature. Next slide, please. So we can show some Polycab product in our portfolio. So FRLF is fire retardant, lead free. It has an inherent fire retardant characteristic. It will self-extinguishable and operating temperature is 70 degrees. So I suggest can use in bathroom or corridor or low duty cycle area. Then FRLSH, this is fire retardant, low smoke and low halogen, is suitable for home, bedroom and living room. Then there is another product is HFFR01Z-K. This is zero halogen, means halogen quantity is less than FRLSH, but the operation temperature is 70 degrees. Next slide, please. Yeah, HFFR04XZ-K. This is our new product, and this is very unique product. This is fire retardant, low smoke, and very, very low toxicity. In that, operation temperature is very high, 90 degrees. Even suppose there is a peak, sometimes peak is coming from the source of the current. So if peaks comes, so it can absorb this peak because this is a high temperature where, and even there is a short circuit and even it burns, so it does not drip. So that is the beauty of the product. So if it does not drip, so other things will not burn. Next is HFFR03XZ. This is also the similar product, but the operation temperature is 70 degrees, so little lower. So HFFR04XZ-K we propose to be used in hospitals, industrial park, then institutions, then high-rise building. It will help a lot during the short circuit or fire accident. Next slide, please. So green wires. So green wire is the most premium product of Polycab. Let us say why it is called green. This product, if it burns, it will emit very low carbon, no health hazard. Means even if it burns, there will be health hazardness is very, very low because it has very low volatile organic content, which does not come out. Any disease will not take place while contamination. Any other PVC cable, normally prolonged contamination, there is a chance of disease. But wherever we have a lead-free and green, it does not give any disease. It is thermally stable. Even some high current will pass, but still it will absorb. So it is a thermally stable, very low toxicity. So toxic gases are not coming out. Very low fire hazard. No environmental pollution. Means if you throw to the ground or anywhere, so it will not pollute the environment. It is recyclable and it will go to the, you can recycle this and go to the environment. This is Polycab most premium product, and you have a lot of benefit on this for smart home, high-rise building. Wherever there is a chance of short circuit, you can use this. This is designed with a very high conductivity copper. The conductivity goes up to 102%. And the specific copper, Polycab only is manufacturing in India, this high conductivity copper as a backward integration. And the insulation is very, very strong. The insulation compound also Polycab is manufacturing in-house, and the insulation resistance is very, very high. So even the child will play and somewhere or by mistake, if you put your hand, there's very less chance to get a shock on this. So next slide, please. Apart from houseware or houseware product. We have LAN cable, which is used for high-speed Ethernet and networking. It is used in the room for computer, internet, and telephone also. We have coaxial cable, high-speed coaxial cable, and low signal loss coaxial cable, which is RG59, RG6, RG11. Basically, the application is DTH, direct to home, or cable TV. It brings very crystal clear signal and reflects to your TV, so that quality of picture will be good. CCTV cable, this is basically application is in building security system. It is a composite cable. It has power cable and signal also. So it brings signal from the camera, and simultaneously it powerizes the camera so that camera can move 360 degree. So next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay. So BMS cable is our new product, and it is also a unique product. Nowadays, there is a very unique concept of high-rise building, big societies, big industrial park, then institutions. There are a lot of utility equipments like pump, submersible pump. Then you have centralized air conditioning system, heating system. So those utility information will bring by this cable to the control room and monitoring system. So from the control room, you can operate, you can see whether some of the products, some of the utility equipments are working or not working. You can control the temperature, you can control the heating system. So everything. So this cable is very smart. Next is fire alarm cable. This cable gives energy or electricity to the fire security system. Next is fire signal cable. This cable brings signal from the smoke sensors or fire sensors to the security system, and it reflects in the monitor. Next slide, please. So lastly, we have another unique product, which is fire survival cable. This product is very unique and very safe. Wherever there is a chance of fire, like hospitals, tunnels, then high-rise buildings. So we must use this kind of cable, wire and cable. It is a basically power or signal cable also. So even there is a short circuit or there is a high fire situation, this cable will work with the electricity for 3 hours at 950 degree temperature. So 950 degree temperature, 3 hours when it works, by that time all security system, all emergency equipment will work, lift will work, emergency light will work, so that the people can evacuate the place and we can shift the emergency equipment to safest place. And after 3 hours, this cable will work, may work, but we cannot give guarantee for this. But we have seen that it is working after 3 hours also. So we have a lot of approval for this kind of product, like BS approval, LPCB approvals, and CE approvals also. So very comfortably, this product can be used for new smart house, high-rise building, and hospitals. Next slide, please. So this is our other product apart from wire and cable. And thank you very much for listening and keeping patience. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mukherjee, for giving the insight to the product line. I think I am audible.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you very much. And it's like while I was listening to your this presentation, like समंदर को कूजे में बंद करने वाली बात है. बड़े समंदर को एक छोटे उसमें करके आपने इतने elaborately सब कुछ बताया. तो just we are running short of the time. So whatever the introduction I had prepared for this event, Mr. Mukherjee had hijacked that, and he already covered most of the things. And now this step I am skipping, that he already very well explained how the cables are important. So just I will start the conversation with our esteemed panelist. The wires and cables when you enter into the building, starting from the entrance guardhouse to the lift lobby, to reach your home and switch on your washroom light and using the living room. Everywhere, wires are like veins of the building, and without the wires, the building is incomplete. And whatever Mr. Mukherjee has told, it is very informative. But all those information should cascade to the end user, and before end user it should cascade to the designers who should propose to the developers like us and my colleagues, and we should know, and there should be some guideline, and there should be some uniformity and consistency. Like in the building, if in a single flat, if I use multiple type of wires, so practically it is not possible to control the usage and to check whether the people are rightly using the right selection or not. So in that, Polycab and other OEMs should come up, and they should have the uniform product which can be used. So we can practically implement that. And I would request my panelists to throw the light on the very sensitive subjects of the design, selection, installation, and the most important thing which is very much neglected in our industry is that if design is good, installation is good, but if there is no preventive maintenance and checking, frequent checkings are not there. Frequent means I am talking about the yearly checking or at least 6 monthly checking, or once in 18 months, somebody should have the checking of the cables if overheating is happening, or thermography, and all those things should be covered in the maintenance part. I would request my panelists to address that important aspects also, since the points regarding the manufacturing and the selection of the cables is already covered by Mr. Mukherjee. So then, without wasting any further time, we will just move up to our esteemed panelist to have the question answers. And at the end, if time permits, so we will have certain question answers from our audience also. Now, just starting with the Mr. Birjesh, who is from ATS Greens, Delhi. Birjesh, I am audible to you.
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah. So just my first question to you, in the light of the presentation from the Mr. Mukherjee, from the developer perspective, how you see the designing stage and selection of the wires and MOCs of the cables what we are installing in this. So how we are well informed as a developer by the OEMs, and how our consultants are well informed and proposing the right MOCs and the right type of wires, and how in the installation it is happening. Please just throw some light on this question.
Thank you, Mr. Harun. Basically, this is a very interesting question, and basically, see, wires are very essential commodity of every household and almost used by everybody in their daily life. It will say that wires and cables are right now, this is the integral part of everybody. So when we see the another aspect, that how much awareness, obviously, if you will ask only for the builder segment or consultant or good contractors, then obviously from the last few years, you can say from the last 10-15 years, obviously the awareness has raised. This is because of customer complaints, because of, yes, obviously, when we are running the building from the last 10 years, 15 years, obviously there is a lot of experience of what we are facing during the operation of the buildings. When we are designing at the design stage, obviously we are taking care of every aspect. But right now, when we were designing before 15 years, the buildings up to G+8, G+10, right now we are designing the buildings more than G+40, G+50, and beyond that. So right now, vertical growth of the building has started. So related to, if you will see the building when increasing into the vertical growth, then obviously there is a lot of safety issues. And the most important safety is that is related with the fire. And obviously, if you see that fire generally take place because of 90% cases, if you will observe, then this is because of the electrical equipments, like rest of the equipments and wires and cables. So right now, if you see from the design point of view, yes, obviously consultants are aware. They are very synced with the manufacturers. Manufacturers are obviously closely working with the consultant developers, even with contractors. So what are the new technologies are coming to take care of the challenges? We are aware about those things, and we are incorporating into our design and into our installation also. But after all, these all things, if you say we have to reach up to the level of electrician. This is a big gap where obviously we need the support of manufacturers like Mr. Sani and Mr. Mukherjee told in detail that these are the things which we should be take care during the wiring and cabling. But we need to do the better training to our electricians, so they should be very aware. We are working on that, but obviously there should be a bigger responsibility, a bigger contribution from the manufacturer too. So we should be aware to take care of wiring, cabling, and all those things. I would like to take an example here how painting industry has changed the thought process of old people. Before 15 years, if you will observe, then there was only the limestone, then distemper. Right now, when the buyer is going into the market, they are doing all the research. How many types of paints are available? What are their properties? What are the primer properties? What are their rest of the material properties? Then they are procuring. They are taking care of their health, their safety, their rest of the things. In the same manner, this is the continuous effort of this painting industry. So in the same manner, wire industry should come on a big level and obviously educate everybody at up to a bottom level. So this awareness when increased, then obviously every thing like from design to execution to maintenance to everything has to be taken care.
Thanks, Brijesh, for this insight. Now I am coming to Mr. Rajiv. Rajiv, I am audible. Hello, Mr. Rajiv, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Rajiv, just a continuation of what Brijesh has told regarding the training to the up to the electrician level, and this what he has told. But when we are at the design stage and when we are at the design board, so what are the authority codes and guidelines for the selection of the wires and cables, and how much support we are getting as a developer from the OEMs of the wires and cables? Like sometimes we face the problem of the what aluminum cable should be used or not, or copper cables wires up to what side we should use, and the CFO guidelines. So can you throw some light on this authority codes, guidelines, and NBCs? What are the factors which are very important in selection of the wires? And just because we are running of the short of the time, and I want to utilize the discussion to convey the message to Polycab as an OEM, and other OEMs also will get the message. So what as a developer, what informations we are looking for, and sometime ignorantly or we are not aware of the things, so things become worse and worse. So this what the question I had put to you, please just proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Siddiqui. I'm continuing what Mr. Brijesh has given the insight. I am pretty sure whatever Polycab or other respected OEMs are doing in terms of making their wires and cable, as they rightly mentioned, as the heroes, they have the highest endurance. You know, we sometimes while laying the cables or terminating them, use all malpractices. But coming back to the design board, I strongly feel that India, is going with all kind of renewable energy or, EV charging or maybe the data center landscape. everything is connected through either large cables or all the way down to the patch cords. Okay, so everything has to come on a common platform. And if we can have an app developed for a smartphone, wherever we have a challenge or a confusion or an ambiguity in the code, IS 732 or National Building Code, or referring to the CFO guidelines, we can quickly go to that app and do our search, and we will get the complete data sheet. And also, since it is a very, very price sensitive market, everything has to make a business sense while you are doing a selection for your project. So if we can do, the price comparisons also of the different types of cables for a running length, and also can quickly do a voltage drop calculation. If we have an app, I think that would be a great tool for young budding engineers, so that they have that confidence level that whatever they are doing is, correct. And then they can obviously go back and talk to their consultants or improvise on the design. So I think this all information has to be collated on an app, because if you want to eat a dish from anywhere in Mumbai, there is an app. You just go to Swiggy and you search it and you get it. Why can't we do this for a cable? For selecting a cable or selecting the right type of cable for your project. I really would like to contribute if Polycab puts a foot forward and take this initiative. We as the fraternity of MEP, design engineers or the end users, can also give our thought processes into it. So this is one of the things I would like to see in near future, and I want OEMs to help us out on that, and that will obviously help the industry moving forward. The second thing is, the codes have to be more illustrated kind. People get bored reading codes and interpreting them, and for a young engineer who just passed out from a university, to get hold of National Building Code or IS 732 or IEC or National Electric Code, it's a challenge for them. Why can't we have an open platform for these budding engineers where they can get an access to these codes, and somewhere down the line you have a comparison. Now, if you look at the International Building Code or NFPA illustrated code, most of the things are shown on the drawings. And when I started my engineering, the first tagline I got from my professor was, an engineer's language is drawing or a detail. I have not gone through any typical detail being published as an illustrated electrical code for the industry.
Yeah, Rajiv, well explained. Just we are running short of the time.
Yeah.
So just whatever your these suggestions and advice is very valuable, and just listen from the horse mouth what they have to say, and we know who is the horse here. Mr. Bhushan. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Because it's a very interactive session, so I am not going by the questions, whatever this list. So it's important, whatever Mr. Rajiv has told, and I have the same opinion. Why can't, as a OEM, because I am a moderator, but I am a part of this panelist segment also. So Jayashree, please excuse me for this. I can not only read the questions and get the answer.
That's
So
okay.
whatever our this panelist has. Yes, Jayashree.
No, I said go ahead, Mr.
Yeah. Thanks. Mr. Bhushan.
Yeah.
Just very short, because now we have only 12 minutes left. So we should be very specific and short. So whatever the Rajiv has told, can you briefly answer that? And just I will take 30 seconds to complete my question to you. because there are so many ambiguities are there in the codes, or discrepancies are there. I will not tell the ambiguities, but the interpretation and the understanding. Nobody wants to deviate, nobody wants to do a bad job, but sometimes it is unknowingly it happens. So why the manufacturer like Polycab, who has the international presence, for the project specific like the high rise and this, they give the developers a guideline and a kit sort of things for internal wiring. These are the specification for the fire survival cable, lift, and the life safety. This is the things, some kind of this, and it will be a great CSR for us, for you also, to educate. And as a developer, responsible developers, we will take that and we will cascade and we will ensure that it is going up to the end user, and while the installation and maintenance, those guidelines can be fulfilled. So not alone Polycab, your fraternity should look into this matter. So please throw some light on this, but very shortly. You have 60 seconds.
I'll not take more than 50 seconds. As I want to thanks to Brijesh also and Rajiv also, as Brijesh has said that we have to give trainings to all the electricians and all. We are making such programs also. We are registering our customers and all, where they can ask for the electricians and also. Soon you will get all the invitations and all. And even that, everybody is invited, whosoever wanted to visit our factory for the training as all, we heartily welcome. And regarding this, Rajiv asked the app of the voltage drop and other parameters. We are working very, very deeply. As you said earlier, the FS cable. FS cable, people are using the aluminum cables. When the FS cables, you need 750-degree temperature, but aluminum is melting down on 650. Still, we are using a FS cable. So we are trying to educate the people, maybe fire industries and all other industries. We're working on that level. Even in data center, where it was required the copper cable, but still people are using the aluminum cable, and other industries are working on it, taking it. Education and awareness, what I said in my in the beginning, is basically the lack of knowledge and lack of educations. We people are definitely working. Our chairman's his objective is always there. We have to give awareness whether he's not. Regarding the price and all, what I was saying, see, if the per square feet rate is somewhere as 1400 at the average and all, if we use good wires and all, I don't think so it will increase by 25 and 30. I don't want to get in debate. I'm sorry that I've touched this, but still I'm saying that we have to educate another area. Rest of the, as you are saying, as a OEM, I will take this responsibility. I will meet each and everyone, how we can work as a partners, not as a supplier, not as a buyer. We will sit together, and I can say, as sir was saying, that you people are not giving the price benefit, price is going up. I want to tell him, sir, I'm also the buyer. I am buying the copper every month on that. Yes, we will give you some mechanism where will be the win-win situation for both of us. We will definitely work together. We are manufacturing wires for you only, not for the other.
Bhujan, thanks. Just I will put 15-20 seconds my suggestion to that. Okay, why can't you adopt one thing, suppose to Rustam ji or ATS or to Runwal Group, whenever, or any other builder, when you are supplying wires to that. So with that, like other specialists like group fittings and other items, those manufacturers, OEMs are involved at site also. So the sample installations and the major when the major panel wiring is going on, shaft wiring is going on, just a frequent visits and on-site training to the people, not limited to the just to fulfill the ISO requirements and this. So each and every site, wherever you are supplying the wires, you make it mandatory that our people will come, will have a site visit, and we will check the installations. And just please, it is our moral responsibility also as an engineer, whatever we are talking in this forum, if it saves a one life also, if it saves a one life also, or this property also, though this aim of our all efforts are fulfilled. So please adopt that, make it mandatory. Like there is a scheme now, 1+1. So that scheme, when you are buying the cable, that's free of cost. We will give training, we will check installation and whatever is there. And after installation also, because you are also doing business. It's not a charity. So when somebody is installing that and giving the crores and crores rupees in terms of the wires and cables, and the huge amount is there. So for the AMC and also in initial phase after 6 months or 1 month when building is just taking shape and occupancy is taking, just have the thermography of the important areas. So please make a note and circulate to all of us who are in this. And from the developer front, I am telling you, we are 100% into the life safety and we want to do better. But for that, we are not designers, we are not manufacturers. We are just facilitators and making this. So your contribution is very much looking forward. And what you had snatched some words from my mouth also. What I was thinking, and it is always in my mind, whosoever the life safety, wherever the life safety is concerned, so then the OEMs, manufacturer, designers, they are not traders. You are not traders. Just keep in mind, you are not traders. Polycab or RR or Phenolic, they are not traders. They are selling something which is very technical, highly technical. So sorry to say, but it is not targeting anyone, or it is not to anything, but it is not happening the way we are moving to high-rise 70-story, 80-story, in Delhi 100-story, largest tower, cluster of towers, 20 towers. In standalone building, it is not required. It is required, but the thumb rule works. 4 square mm cable, 6 square. But here, this lapses happens, and the lapses are happening, and fire occurs after 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year because of the overheating and this. Sorry, I am talking a little fast because of the time. So I think you got my message. Please just we pledge, ओथ लेते हैं ना, शपथ लेते हैं हम लोग, तो हम लोग एक शपथ लेते हैं कि इस फोरम से निकल के जो हम लोग बात कर रहे हैं, और हम लोग तो खाली बात कर सकते हैं, but you are the person who can implement. So please implement it, and it will really we will see the results very soon.
Definitely, definitely.
A lot of CSR you are already doing, but do some CSR for the poor people like us also.
I will not call it as a CSR.
No, technically, I am telling it is required. Just I will jump to Mr. Bala. Bala sir, can you hear me?
Yes, very much, Mr. Steki, I can.
Yeah. Since you told you are finalizing all the contacts and this in the prestige developers. So what do you think what are the different factors as a developer or builder or consultant we should consider before finalizing the makes, brands and MOCs of the wires and cables, and how much emphasis we should give to the designer in finalizing and those cables at the design stage, and involvement of the OEM in that phase only?
Well, you put in a lot of points in one question, but I'll try to make it as concise. Yes. No, I'll try to make it as concise. Now, just taking forward this discussion from what Mr. Pandey mentioned, or Mr. Raji mentioned, or you've been speaking about, there is a lot of thought which goes in while we conclude on the makes or even on the technical parameters based on which we conclude this. But at the same time, there is so much. I heard one of the other gentlemen mentioning about the pressure of pricing. I mean, that's something that we can ill afford to ignore, and that too in the current scenario. We as a developer, we have certain obligations to fulfill, not just to the end user, but also to all the statutory codes. And in this regard, for us, it's been an educating session. We have regular sessions, including the ones from Polycab. We do meet most of them. A lot of information has been forthcoming, and especially on what was presented as green wires. I mean, I saw one slide being presented for green wires. It's a very welcome initiative. With 102% conductivity of copper. I mean, we've not used it, but still should be something worth considering. We've been using a blend of both copper and aluminum. It's just not been copper alone or aluminum alone. We've kind of transformed, and the building codes do also permit this. It's on the OEMs, and in this case, since it's Polycab, my suggestion to Polycab is to educate people as much as possible. I mean, and allow them to take decisions, enable to take the right decisions. I do know a lot of these things can cause a lot of havoc
fire accidents, etc. But using the right stuff and using the right installation methods is what actually matters. And our people, I mean, you can call them people who front end these installations. I mean, people who are facing this day in, day out, the maintenance people or people who put the system into operation. They should feel safe. They should feel very comfortable using this. My only suggestion and my only thought in this particular aspect is to enable the builders to take the right decision. I know, as you would agree, I'm sure it will be seconded by many in the panel, that we are all competing hard in a very tough environment, and it's also a matter of survival of the fittest. And since I have the unenviable job of doing both the technical compliance and at the same time trying to manage the pricing part, I know how tough it is. So this is my submission, and enable us to take the right decision by providing the right inputs.
Correct. Thank you very much, Mr. Bala. Very well explained in a short span of time. Just I want to touch a very this new technology and the very hot topic what you had already touched, the green wires. So Rajiv, you just in short, as a designer, as a developer, what is your thought about the green wires? Then immediately I will jump to the Bhushan to give us the more insight as a OEM. So Rajiv, please just give your thoughts within 30-40 seconds for the green wires and what the future you sees to use those green wires. Rajiv is with us. I think he is Rajiv.
I think Arun Saab, you can ask to any other panel.
Yeah. The Birjesh, just I will go to you for this green wires. Just from the developer perspective, what scope you see for using the green wires, and then we will ask Bhushan to give the more insight regarding and what the benefits we will get by using the green wires.
Obviously, when we are going to design very complex buildings, then obviously we need new technologies or new product to align with those buildings. Basically, what we are saying when we are going for the vertical growth, like you were talking about the 70-story, 80-story, 100-story, then obviously we need such kind of product, not only in wire, but the rest of the thing also. Right now we are talking about the wire, so I will say about the wire that we need such kind of wire where we need more time. When there is a fire, then services should be ready. Firefighters able to take care of those buildings. They are able to quench at least they are able to evacuate the people who have trapped into that particular fire. So obviously, whatever the new product introduced by Polycab, like fire survival cables, like green cables, green wires. So obviously, these are the very good, and in future I can see when its uses will increase. Obviously, when its benefit will come, then obviously its usage will start and it will go up to a certain level where obviously it will become the economical. Obviously, when they will manufacture in more quantum, then obviously it will become economical.
A very important point you had touched upon, that volume is required and the developers should come together to give that call, and it is our responsibility towards nature also to go with that initiative.
Yes, obviously.
Just Bhushan ji.
Yes, sir.
Bhushanji, just quick questions, 2-3 rapid questions to you regarding this green cables. If I use the green cable, so then what GREHA or IGBC, any ratings or points are we getting by using the green cables?
We are working with the authorities even, and still the people are working on that. Maybe you will get within 2 or 3 months.
So it is in the pipeline, because I was not sure. So that's why that I am asking. Till now, we are doing GREHA and this IGBC for certain products. So, but it will be a
Bhushan, I'll take this question.
Yeah, you take this.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, Mr. Harun, we are working very deeply with IGBC and CII also. So since this is a new project and new product, so they are also not very much sure about this. So maybe we have a joint team and joint development. We can go with them and then we can do this. But still, we are asking CII and IGBC, and also they may approach to EMA, and so that we can come forward with this.
Yeah.
Because there are the authorities we are also approaching, because these are the authorities only can work with us and educate the people and work out on the
And just a pure technical question, not a commercial question. Commercial, we have time, we can offline, we can have project wise. But as a layman, just I want to understand, if I am using the normal wires, FRLS wires or FR wires, and I am using the same category of this green wires. So at present, because Birjesh has rightly pointed out, if there is a volume, so there is a reduction in the price. But as per the current scenario, because somebody has to start, I cannot wait for Birjesh to start, then I will take. Or Rajiv cannot wait that Rustamji will start, then I will. So somebody has to start for the bigger projects. We can initiate this. So at present scenario, roughly what is the this cost difference between the normal wires and the green wires? And when I talk about the normal wires, FRLS is the basic wire category to be used inside the house. That is the biggest volume. So, just very short, please reply.
It's not more than 5%. That is what I said in the, if it is a 40.
Meeting is recording.
Yes.
Jayashri, it is recording, no?
That is what I'm saying. It is not more than 5%.
Obviously, it will be utilized.
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you very much, because the major perception is people say don't talk about green wire because it will be too costly.
Mr. Harun, this more than a price, the technical benefit is so much in this wire. So that will help the people.
Sizing also will be reduced because it has the lace. Jayashree, how much time we have? Because we will keep on discussing. It is a very important topic. Do we have 10-15 minutes more?
Yeah, you can take another 10 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, then I'll tell Mr. Bridges. Mr. Bridges was saying that there is a big high-rise building, maybe 50 floor, 100 floor. So I think Mr. Bridges' normal wire will not work out, because where if it is straight goes upward, so if it is vertical, the taking chance of fire will be much more rather than if it is remain in the horizontal. So I think you all of you must consider for this kind of wire which is very vertically high. Means high-rise building, it is very useful.
And even it is required, if you see the Paris Agreement and countries where everybody is in the globe, all are working on your global warming. When we are hearing London, Bahamas, Bangkok, even Mumbai will disappear after 2050. If we will not work today on the global warming and all, I don't feel so we can even save our country on that. And regarding Brijesh, you have said very well, when the volume will be there, I think the price will go even more down.
Yeah.
And as a Polycab, see, we have everything in an house. So whatever we are manufacturing, we have a trust on our manufacturing. We are not buying anything. We have in-house manufacturing with the high degree of backward integration. We believe in manufacturing result in processes. That is process advantage, quality advantage, cost advantage, as you said, and innovation advantage. And most importantly, strategically advantage of the common raw material. You will not believe we are manufacturing even our cable drum ourselves. Not taking.
Thanks, Bhushanji. Just I will go back to Mr. Bala.
Yeah, Mr. Steve.
Yeah, just we had a lot of talk about the design and installation.
Yes. Yeah, I had one thought.
When we had worked this, since you are finalizing the contracts also. So how it will be beneficial for us while finalizing the contract or the order for the cables and wires, or the contract to include the AMCs and safety audits for the installation carried out. And in my opinion, what I think, the cable installation and the switch gear and the panels and DBs, what we are taking from the other OEMs, so there should be some collaboration in that also, because the source of the fire is always in most of the cases it is at the switchboard level, panel level, or DB level. So what is your opinion in that?
Yeah, just a few things on what is being discussed on the proposed green wires. I heard Mr. Mukherjee mentioning that it has got a conductance of about 102%. I mean, if I heard it right. So if that is the case, the current carrying capacity should also be pretty higher compared to the available cross-sectional areas. So in which case we need to know, I mean, at least some information which can help us decide on what is perceived. I mean, see, as designers, the general tendency is to have a factor of safety, try to buffer in a certain derating. Hence, you increase the size of the wire, the conductor diameter. By using this, will it be of any help that the loading on a particular circuit can be more without causing any hazard at all, or will it affect the fault levels at the last point? I mean, assuming that at the last point the fault level is at around 6 kA or 10 kA as it is designed for. Now, I think these are something points. I mean, the other gentleman, Mr. Pandey, mentioned about volumes. See, this is one way of trying to mitigate this. I mean, in how do we make it more effective and more efficient, given we use this wire instead of the regular FRLs that's been used in abundance right now. That is my thought on, and of course, if the current carrying capacity is more, the loading on a particular circuit can also be more. Hence, the amount of wiring required itself may reduce. I mean, I know now. I mean, these are case studies that we can look at.
Yes. One
And as
question
far as
just from your conversation, just I will put a quick question to you. What you are telling, the factor of safety. So because of the urbanization and the changing of the people who are purchasing the flats or shifting into the new apartment and taking the new things, in your opinion, what should be the factor safety and extra we should keep for the end customer? Just for an example, we designed our flats for a normal water heater, 3 kilowatt, 4 kilowatt, 5 kilowatts. But some people intend to use the inline water, which is 11 kilowatts. So then in those scenarios, how should we handle those scenarios? In short, the urbanization and adopting the new technologies available for the end user and customer, because it ultimately overloads the cost also.
Absolutely. No, where I'm coming from, yes, of course. No, we all think that 3 kilowatts, 4 kilowatts, or 5 kilowatts for a particular unit is not sufficient. Of course, exceptions do exist, but from experience, from having done as much buildings, worked on as many projects, I can tell you that the demand never actually exceeds 3 or 4 or 5. It's all in our brains, in our heads, that we think that it isn't sufficient, but it is actually sufficient. And most of the devices that are getting into our homes are very, very power efficient, be it a refrigerator, be it a washing machine, or with the advent of these smart homes, the lighting that gets into a particular home, and especially with LED coming in. I'll be very honest in trying to tell this forum that we did explore using 1 square mm instead of 1.5 on whether it would actually affect. I mean, it was done as an experiment case, and it actually doesn't affect. I mean, if you use a good 1 square mm wire with the right current carrying capacity, it still does the work of a 1.5 square mm. So all I'm trying to tell you is there is a factor of safety to the tune of almost some 20 to 30%, but then we are all bound by codes. I mean, so there are statutory bodies governing us. So it's also imperative that the OEMs prevail on these bodies to convince them on whenever they bring any such new product that there are certain advantages in trying to bring these, which can make the system more efficient, and at the same time help contribute to the economy. I mean, if it can bring the cost of construction down to that extent, nothing like it, isn't it?
Yeah, Mr. Mukherjee or Mr. Bhushan, anyone can answer one question, which is very important.
Yeah,
like in HVAC industry, we used to get the support from the OEMs regarding the heat loads and the selection of those things based on the certain softwares and this. So can Polycab for the big projects or small projects, whatever the volume is there, so can Polycab and your fraternity can help us in using this design software to get the optimized design. And what Mr. Bala was trying to point out, it should not be more, it should not be unwanted, but factor of safeties, because sometimes consultant add one factor of safety, then at site, while we are procuring, sometimes we add the factor of safety, and largely for no rhyme and reason, the cost is more and we are oversizing the things. So this M-Track or other e-design solution or softwares like the HVAC industries, can you come into the picture and do something over that, or anything in pipeline in your organization to do that?
So, okay, Bhushan, I'll take this question.
Yeah, definitely.
So, as Mr. Bala is rightly asking this question, you have options. So, if it is a greenware, see, I'll tell you, greenware and our HFFR 04XZ-K is totally a new product and is a new technology and new process. So, HFFR 04XZ is a ultra modern technology which is done by electron beam. Okay, very few companies are having this process, electron beam, and this has a dual option on that. Electron beam option is that it's a cross-linking, high cross-linking.
Just we have to go fast because I'm getting signal also.
So electron beam technology is giving a cross-linking, and you will get a 25% extra benefit for current rating.
My question is different. I am not disputing your technology and the efficiency of
no, as he asking,
just my basic question is that when we are doing HVAC designing or this fire designing or water supply designing, a selection of the pumps like Grundfos and this, so they all OEM support consultants and developers in terms of the design, in terms of the design from the softwares. Software gives me a correct picture what I should use and what I should not use, and it is documented also. So in that scenario, anything in pipeline in your organization, or you are doing something like that to support the customers in designing and selecting the cables through the M-Tech calculation or e-design softwares?
Yes, this is under pipeline and under progress. So what we are doing, as Mr. Bala said, Mr. Rajiv said, voltage drop. This part is already over. Now we are working for current carrying capacity and resistance. So these two part will over. So then we'll immediately publish into the market. So it will be very useful for the customer like you to decide the cable, select the cable based on the distance, and whatever the minimum voltage drop you require, that also will get. So this will come within a month or two.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And apart from Mr. Bala's requirement of high current capacity, so if you use greenware, you can get a extra 20% current capacity benefit. And if you use HFFR 04XZ, you will get extra 25% current carrying capacity benefit. So that is there. So you can be very safe in the house.
So just publish some case studies for those same things and educate us so we can adopt this very quickly.
Oh, yes, definitely.
And this, Mr. Bhushan, one last question, and just I will wind up because it's already 18 minutes. We are running out of time. When the installation is complete, during the installations also, when the building is in the finishing stage, we have a lot of waste, cable waste is there. And this is the one construction waste is there. And apart from that, whenever somebody is doing the retrofit, so they are pulling out the cables and then disposing. So any MSDCS you are supplying with your cables, material safety data sheet, and how to dispose it? Because I had not seen that is very much organized in those sectors to dispose of those things.
I think they
will also help in just maintaining the environment.
Devjyoti.
Can you, Mr. Harun, can you repeat once again shortly?
Yes, my question is, any MSDCS material safety data sheet, including the instructions for disposing of the wires and cable waste, and whatever the wire and cable waste we are replacing, is there in place from your side, or you are supplying this MSDCS along with your cable delivery, or educating the customers regarding that?
Yes, MSDS datasheet is available, but that is on demand only. But for regular material, popular material, we are not supplying. But if you want, immediately we can supply. That is ready in place.
So what I request you, just to end up in a very good note, get this, you please don't keep it up to your systems only. educate the people, so they will dispose it and they will have the responsibility that
Mhm.
because if you had given me something in writing and it's something is documented, so it is my responsibility to follow that, and people follow also that. So please make it some process, so that MSDCS through all social media or supply or this, whatever the medium you want and who the customer is buying, you give it those MSDCS to those fellows and train them also.
Sure, sure, sure.
It was a very nice discussion, and thanks to all my colleagues for their valuable time and the insight we had. We were short of the time, so this topic needs several hours to discuss. But at end of this session, I am very happy that we had touched upon almost all the things. And in the end, just I want to tell one thing: all these problems, life safety, installations, and the customer comfort, and all this we need to resolve together. And I cannot just look at Mr. Bhushan or Mr. Mukherjee to give me the solutions, but whatever the solutions you are giving technically, we have to implement to it. तो दोस्त से निकलेगा ना दुश्मन से निकलेगा, मेरे पाँव का कांटा मुझी से निकलेगा, वो कांटा सबका ही है, वो किसी को देख के नहीं निकलेगा. And we should give back to the society what we are giving, and people are putting trust as a developer into us while they are purchasing the home. The home should be safe, home should be efficient, and it should whatever they are staying in there, they should enjoy the stay. Just I will conclude this session, Jayashree. Any questions? If we have time, we can take up with our colleagues. Sorry, I had taken 21 minutes more. Yes, over to you, Jayashree. If you have some questions from the audience, so we can take up quickly for 5-6 minutes.
Okay, a lot of people want the PPT to be shared. 1 minute.
I think.
Yeah. So one question is, why do we see a big gap on MRP to fair price of electrical product? The discount to MRP goes as deep as 50 to 60%. Who wants to take that? Why is this anomaly?
Mr. Bhushan, please.
Mr. Bhushan is getting grilled, I think, today.
No.
Where the discount is 50 to 60%. Earlier in cable was somewhere of 70%, which has gone down to now 50%, and we are again regularizing to working to even go down. And there is not a gap. We are circulating even the price list and all. Everything is available on the net. Even you can find out the discounts there. If somebody is having any problem, so we are available 24 hours. They can send us just a message or mail on polycab.com. Then we will answer.
Jayashree, you want to ask some more, or should we just try and?
No, I think we'll take it offline now.
Yeah, no worries. I think Mr. Bhushan, would you like to say a few words before?
Sir, we believe in tomorrow's India, and we will do whatever possible best for our nation, for our commodity, because we are as a brother living in the India, and we want to work together with these safety prices, every aspects we have to take in mind. So with this bottom of my heart, I just want to thank you all people जो आप लोगों ने ये time निकाला, and it will help us, our country, for the safer place to live. And thank you very much for being such a wonderful moderator like Mr. Harun Siddiqui, and thank you very much for all the panelists, and thank you very much Devi also, and thank you, sir. Thank you very much. We will see you soon with the more new products and all. Thank you.
Just to conclude, just whatever we have discussed and these points, hope we will see those in coming 2, 3, 4 months. We will have the results, and this Rajiv is offline. I will tell him Jayad assured that app also. So in 2021 we can see that.
Definitely, rigorously on that, educating the people. Until unless education is there, nobody will take it.
Yes.
No, I think I have to say a big thank you, Harun Saab, for absolutely anchoring it so beautifully. Bala Saab, Brijesh, and Devjyoti, Mr. Sahni, and of course, left a while ago. But I think it was a great discussion. I think we straddled across the spectrum of discussion how important it is when it comes to taking a right kind of a wires or cable. And I think when brands like Polycab are there, we are very safe hands because a very progressive company. And moreover, how Mr. Sahani said that, we are all there and we'll work as one cohesive force to make sure that, we can give our people the best and the most safest products. And I think at ITP India and my editor, Jayashree, who's really worked hard, and all the people behind the scenes in Polycab team and in my team, who have really worked tirelessly to, co-create this meaningful and a very credible platform where we saw knowledge sharing at the highest level. I think I'm still getting lots of requests, very informative session. I think people and audience, a big thank you to you. I can still see great numbers. That means to say that you really like this evening, really like this discussion. And I for one, definitely has imbibed a lot of knowledge, especially on a subject which is so important. And I think Jayashree would obviously do a lot of, good things about this webinar. She would produce some great content, and I'm sure people will love to read it in our subsequent issue of Construction Week India magazine, and also on our website as well. I think a big thank you from ITP and Polycab here. Stay tuned, and I think this is the first initiative in the Nation Builder series. We call it Nation Builders, rightly so. And I hope to see very soon something, coming with this webinar down south. Thank you very much. Namaskar, and Harun Saab, what a pleasure to have you today on our show, and how well you anchored this one. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So stay safe, stay well. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.